Hi everybody, back again for some more. We are going to go ahead and factor some more trinomials. We're going to do number 7 and on in your textbook, so go ahead and open it up to 202 or through 205. These are on 205, by the way. Remember, we're factoring. It has to multiply to the AC position and add to B. All right, so here we go, more problems like yesterday. So as a reminder, we have to multiply to AC, whatever's in the A and C position, and those two factors have to add to what's in the B position. So we still are sticking with just the number 1. So I have in the A position a 1, and the C position an 8. 1 times 8 is 8. I'm going to go ahead and write all the factors down. 1 and 8, 2 and 4, that's all of them. And then in my B position, I see I've got a 9. Now this number 8 was positive, so both of these factors underneath the 8 here, the 1 and the 8, or the 2 and the 4, they all get to stay positive. So I need to figure out which ones add to the number 9. So if I add them, I see that 1 and 8 are the 9. So I'm going to choose those two as my factors. I'm using a W right now, and so I'm going to have W in both my binomials. And these both, the 1 and the 8, were positive, so I'm going to have plus 1 plus 8. I'm not going to check all these today for you, but I'm going to check this one just to remind you how to check these. Box method, W in 1 and W in 8. I get W squared, W, 8W, and 8. So then I have W squared plus 9W right here, plus 8. That was my original problem. Perfect. Final answer right here. All right, problem number 2 for the day, but number 8 in your textbook. Multiplied AC, I've got a 1 here, so that's 1 times negative 48. 1 times negative 48 is negative 48. So A times C is negative 48. Forget it's negative for a moment. One of the two factors has to be negative. Let's write our factors of 48. 1 times 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, and 6 and 8. Now I know I make that look easy because I have it written down on a sheet of paper, but you would have to figure out all those factors, all those multiplication problems. I do need one of them to be negative because I need to make negative 48, and I need to get something closer to add to negative 13. So consider each of these factors. If I do 1 and 48, no way are they going to add to 13. Neither is 2 and 24, and actually 6 and 8 will give me 14. So I somehow need to use this 3 and 16. For the fact that this was a negative 48, one of those two factors, 3 or 16, has to be negative, and I'm going to put it on the 16 because 3 plus negative 16 is negative 13. If I put it on the 3, let me just draw this up here. If I do negative 3 and positive 16, which would be negative 48, I would get positive 13. I don't want positive 13, I want negative 13 for this answer. My final answer, and I'm using m's, would be m in my binomial. And I have plus 3 and minus 16. There's my final answer. To check that, you would do the box method. I'd encourage you to do the box method on each one of them because you could have put the negative on the wrong side, and then you would kind of know if you do the box method and you don't get it right. All right, problem number 9. In the A position, I've got a 1. I'm always going to have a 1 right now. In the C position, I've got 28. 1 times 28 is 28. All right, let's write the factors of 28. 1 times 28, 2 times 14, and 4 times 7. All right, my magic number is negative 11. I need to make this be positive 28, which means either both my integers both need to be positive or they both need to be negative. Well, to make negative 11, I'm probably going to have them both be negative. So this one, the first one, will never add to negative 11. I can't get the second one to add to negative 11, but I could get the last one to add to negative 11 if I make these both negative. Negative 4 times negative 7 is positive 28. But if I add them together, I get negative 11. So my two factors I'm going to use are going to be -4 and -7. I'm using D in my answer this time. So my two binomials are going to be D -4 and D -7. Again, I would check that with box method or FOIL to know if that's actually what I'm supposed to be doing or if that's the right answer. All right, number 10. All right, I'm getting double variables now. These, again, are in the right order. This was the last one from the last time you watched notes. This was a similar type problem. In the A position, I have a 1, see? And I have an x squared. That x squared is not included. But in the C position, it's all one thing, is all this. So in the C position, I get a big number. This is the first time we have this. 1 times 110q squared is 110q squared. That means I need to find the factors of 110. Well, it's 1 and 110, and I'm going to add a q to them each time. That'll give me q squared. And it's 2 and 55. And again, I'm going to add a q for q squared. Don't fret that the middle term has a p in it. And then the last one is 10 and 11. Now I'm going to go back. What do I need b to be? Well, I need it to be 21. This is positive 110, so these can both either stay positive or they both can be negative, but I can't have one of each. So I'm going to leave them positive to start with and see, does one of them get close to 21? Absolutely, this one does. 10 and 11 is 21. All right, I am using p as my variable, not q. P as my variable. So don't be deceived by the fact that there's a q in it right now. So p becomes my first answer, or my first variable in my binomial. And then I have plus 10q and plus 11q. If I box method that or FOIL that, I am going to get a mixed term of p and q, because look at my outers are a p and a q, and my inners are a q and a p. That's how I'm going to get this pq term. Okay? So there's my final answer. Number 11. Well, I've got a double variable again. That's okay. In my A position, I have a 1 hidden there. In my C position, be very careful, I got a -65y squared. So A, 1 times C would be -65y squared. I need all my factors of 65. No worries, there's actually not that many. 1 and 65. They both get a y because it's y squared. And 5 and 13, and they both get a y because it's y squared. Now, this is a negative answer, meaning one of these two is going to have to be negative. And I need it to add to positive 8. All right. There's no way this one is going to ever add to positive 8. But I can get 5 and 13 to give me positive 8. Oops, let me get rid of that little piece I just put in there on accident. Good enough. I need positive 8, so I'm going to leave, let me get rid of that because it kind of looks like a negative. There we go. If I leave 13 positive and make this one negative, I would get positive 8. Now, if I make the 13 negative, which I don't want to do, and the 5 positive, I get negative 8, and that's not what I want. But this one does equal 8, -5 and 13. All right, my variable's x, and I have -5y plus 13y. There is my final answer. And again, if I FOIL a box method it, you know how it's an xy in the middle. It's okay. My outers, if I multiply them, would be xy. My inners would be xy. So that's where I'm getting those mixed terms from. Last problem, number 12. Double variables again. I got C's and D's. I got a 1 here, and in my C position, I've got -70d squared. So 1 times -70 would be -70. So AC is -70d squared. I'll go ahead and find all my factors of -70, 1 and 70, and they both get a d because it's d squared. 2 and 35, and 7 and 10. All right. This was a negative 70, which does mean one of those two has to be negative to multiply to a negative. So I'm going to go back and consider, what do I need to add to? Well, I need to add the negative 3. So I figure out which one of these, if I make one of them negative, is going to add to negative 3. Well, 1 and 70 is not going to work. And 2 and 35, but I can totally get that 7 and 10, because they have a difference of 3, to be negative 3. And if I make the negative 10, the one that's negative, then 7 and negative 10 is negative 3. So there's the factors I want to use. I am using C as my variable. That kind of looks like one of the parentheses, make it look a little better. And I have plus 7D and minus 10D. I'll box method or FOIL this one for you, just because we haven't been doing a lot of that. Let's make sure we get back to the original answer. Let me change my pen color here. So I have C and 7D and C and negative 10D. So I have C squared, 7CD, negative 10CD, and negative 70D squared. So I end up with C squared minus 3CD minus 70D squared. Was that my original problem? I sure hope so. C squared, yep. Negative 3, yep. Negative 70D squared, yep. We got them all right. So that is factoring in a nutshell. If you have questions or anything you want to ask, you can always call, text, email, send me a video, or do a Zoom chat with me, and we can chat through your questions. Otherwise, good luck with all the homework and everything you're working on. Miss you all.